There are so many ways to use a SharePoint site, like a ton. I want you to imagine if you were thinking about, just using a regular website. Like think of some of the perks of a regular website. All the different ways you see websites used out in the world today. That is equivalent to SharePoint, except it just pertains to a specific thing like your organization, which we're going to cover today. I'm going to give you 5 ways that you can use SharePoint sites, or five ways you can use SharePoint sites. And I'm not even scratching the surface, but these are common ways, and this is like a way to drive the point home for you to understand what you really are missing out on when you don't use SharePoint, the site feature, because it has multiple features, but we're talking about the sites. All right, I got my notes. I got to keep my notes. You know what I'm saying? So first, the entire company, number one, can use a SharePoint site. The entire company can do it. It'll help unify communications. I was about to say the entire company could do whatever they want. That's not true. Um, it'll help unify communications. It'll enhance collaboration, and it'll serve as a knowledge repository. I know I'm using these words. I mean, they're not big words, but I'm using these words, work words. That's what they are. They're like work. But here's what I really mean is that all of the things that you need, everything that somebody needs inside of the organization, they can get it from that SharePoint site. Now, I'm not saying everything sits on that front page. I'm saying everything starts there at minimum. A bunch of the things you can find there, but a lot of things you're just going to start there. For instance, you may not find every policy. No, you're not. You won't find every policy on the main page, like the main intranet page. But you will see a button maybe that says policies. Then you click the policies button, and then you start your journey on the way to finding whatever policy you're looking for. It does not matter. Any and everything, all of it can go on this site, starting with the front page, you know what I'm saying, above the fold. That's like the most important. But as this site grows, it will be the place where everyone comes to know this is where you get everything. And that's another thing too, talking about it growing. It doesn't have to start off all fancy schmancy. You know what I'm talking about? All it has to do is just exist and serve a purpose, which is provide everything that everybody needs inside of the organization. Like go right there, right? It could be, kind of basic at first, but as you grow with as the company grows, as you grow with the site, you can make it more sophisticated. But just to get started, you can get started tomorrow. I'm not like overselling this. Tomorrow, because you already pay for SharePoint. Matter of fact, here, let me drive this home more clearer. The site already exists. It's there. All you have to do is use it. You already pay for the Microsoft 365 suite, which means you already pay for SharePoint, which means your SharePoint presence is already there and it already has a home page. It's there. It already exists. It's just now time for you to configure it. That's it. That's all I got on that. All right. A program manager. So program manager, you could put multiple projects on there, timelines, resources, stakeholder information, all of that. You're running a program. So this is a long-term thing and it has multiple projects. You have multiple things going on. And right now, I am very curious. If you are a program manager, where are you managing all of that information? Where's your stakeholders? Where's your like the resources for all your program? What else? The information on your program or links to external things that support your program, like all of this stuff. Where are you currently keeping this? You know what? Send me a note. I'd like to know, or just reach out on LinkedIn. Where are you keeping all this information? If it's not a site, I'm so knee deep in SharePoint, I can't even lie. I try to keep my eyes open and know like how my folks operate. But that's one that keeps coming up blind to me. I keep coming up blind on. I'm like, yo, if you're not using a site, where are you keeping all your stuff? I'm assuming like a Word document that has a bunch of details in it somewhere in some folders. Maybe the folders sit on SharePoint. That's the best I could do. Like, what else are you doing? All right. So far, we got the entire company and then program managers. Now let's talk about project managers. Now, you already know this is my favorite. Project managers could use a SharePoint site to host their WBS, to host their SOW, the statement of work, to host their risk register and other risk information, to host their action log, to host the stakeholder list, and a whole bunch of other resources. Name it, it goes there. You know what I'm saying? If you are a project manager, I encourage you to have a site for each of your projects. You can even get to the point where you have one main site, but the main site links out to all of your projects. Can you imagine that? You're sitting there one day at the end of the year. Maybe this year you've completed 7 projects. And for you to find the details on all of those projects to maybe like write your review, super easy within a matter of clicks. Don't sell yourself short. If you're a project manager, get yourself a site. Create a site per project. If you need more information on that, just reach out to me. All right. So all those things you could do on if you're a project manager, you could do all that on your site, right? Personal. You can use SharePoint for personal reasons. Now, I don't mean at like home. Actually, you can do that, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about personally at work. So you can have all of your projects, like I was just mentioning. You can have all of your resources that you use, different apps that you log into, different, whatever, like all the things that you use to get your job done. You can even track your weekly activity. Okay, so let me talk about this. So I was mentioning you could have a few clicks away at the end of the year to write your review. You could be a few clicks away from your project, all the projects you did this year, right? But here's something that I personally do. So I support a customer, a big government customer. I support them, and they look for weekly activity reports from the contractor. So there's like me, the subcontractor, then there's the prime contractor. The prime contractor has to provide reports to the government, and they use our weekly activity reports to, feed the monthly report, and then they give that to the government, right? Now, the way I set up mine is I use a SharePoint list and I put my weekly report inside of that list. What I do is I give it a title. I write in the updates. I have an area for risks/issues. I have a date column. Like, this is literally a thing that I do. And then I have a column that's set to yes or no. And what it basically says is send to the customer. It defaults to yes. But every Monday on its own, it will send an email to the customer and anybody else that I want to put on the email. I also send it to myself. Because what it's doing is looking at my updates from the week, and then just I have Power Automate, run an automated flow to send it every Monday morning. Now, imagine if I have my personal site, my personal SharePoint site, one button sitting on that site could just say weekly activity report, and it'll take me to the SharePoint list. One button could say, current projects, like I was talking about before. I could use this to manage everything I got going on. So I wonder, as you do your job on a regular basis, how do you track all of your information? Where do you corral it? You know what I'm saying? I would implore you to see if a SharePoint list will work out for you. No. Not see if a list will work out for you. I'm telling you right now, a SharePoint site, did I say list? I meant SharePoint site. A SharePoint site will work for you. Trust me. It does not matter what kind of work you do. Consider this. If you have things that you manage, information that you track, resources that you need to easily get a hold of, whatever, people that you keep in contact with, you can put that in your Outlook contacts, but that's a different story. If you're doing, I'm talking about like stakeholders per project or whatever. Anyway, all types of information, you can put this on your SharePoint site. It's like a no-brainer. And I put my money where my mouth is. I do the same thing. All of my stuff that I do, everything that I'm working on is wrapped up in my SharePoint site. You know what I'm saying? And I can get to everything easily. Listen, a couple episodes ago, I said SharePoint makes you dangerous. I'm telling you right now, if you created yourself a SharePoint site, right? And then somebody came walking by your desk and said, "Hey, can I get this thing?" And then they saw you open up your screen and you pulled up like a website and like clicked through a website and found this thing and maybe like sent it to them, they'd be like, "Yo, what are you doing? What is this sorcery?" You know what I'm saying? And they'd want to get down and do the same thing that you're doing. Trust me, you need a SharePoint site. If for anything, it'll make you look cool. Okay, let me get on my number 5 here. Oh, wait. I meant to mention another kind of personal thing. So this is an idea that I had. I haven't executed yet, but I'm gonna just say it here because maybe this will spark the brain or spark the brain that'll spark the brain to go tell somebody. If you are a stay-at-home parent and you have an entire house to manage, you got multiple rooms, multiple floors, dinner, kids, multiple kids, pets, vacations, shots for the pets, major dates for the kids, at schools and stuff like that. All kinds of things, numbers that you need to remember to call the warranty if something happens, what happened when you call the warranty, so you track the information, all kinds of things. You can have a SharePoint site for that. You can log into your SharePoint site, sit down, look at everything at one interface, and get to anything else that you need right there if you're a stay-at-home parent. Here's another thing. I'm going to throw a bonus on top of this. You can, if you have a monitor sitting inside of your, what do you call that? Inside of your kitchen or your, on your wall, somewhere where, there's community in your house and everybody sees it. I don't have a screen up, but I have a blackboard up, like a mini blackboard on the wall, write whatever messages I need the whole family to see. Can you imagine if you had a monitor and that monitor was a feed of this SharePoint site that I'm talking about, and you like put the calendar up there every day so you could always just see the calendar, maybe even do it with a tablet, whatever, I don't know. The point is, you could run your whole household from SharePoint. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not even like I'm not overselling it. I'm being dead serious. You can use a SharePoint site to run your whole family. If you're organized like that, all you would do right now with the technology is get even more organized, more efficient, and bring everybody on board because all your family can access it too. How flipping cool is that? Is that not cool? Somebody talk to me. I'm here talking to myself. I talk, but yeah, I need you to talk back. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's give it number 5. Or let's recap. Let me recap the first 4. I've been scrambling at my paper here. Hold on. All right, so the first one was the entire company can use a SharePoint site. Then number 2 is a program manager. Number 3 is a project manager. And number 4 is you. Personally, you can use a SharePoint site in work and out of work. Now, here's number 5. The IT department, they can use a SharePoint site, but not just the IT department, any department inside of the organization. I'm just picking IT because I can. So the IT department can have inventory on the site. So all the computers throughout the organization, they can have a SharePoint list managing all of it. Number 2, they can have a help desk ticketing system on the SharePoint site. They collect the requests. The requests go inside of a SharePoint list. They could work the ticket, send an email back to whoever. They could do all of this. And another one, let's say you have a big organization with a bunch of printers. You know what I'm saying? If you got a printer or a lot of printers throughout the organization, you can have a SharePoint list that shows where all these printers are. You know what I'm saying? And how to connect to them. I don't know if there's an interface already existing for printers to easily do this, but I know an email used to go out with a Word document that used to have links in it at an organization I worked at. You'd like get the email, open up the Word document, or maybe do it inside. Oh, they used to put the link inside of the subject line of the email. and you'd click that link and it'll work some stuff behind the scenes, and then you'd get connected to the printer. I'm like, okay, that's cool, pretty efficient. Well, I'm sorry, that's cool. I'm gonna stop there. But you want to be efficient, have a printer site on the internet. You can have it on the IT site and have everybody able to just go there, find their location, click on something, and then this will connect them to the printer. How cool is that? Very cool. To answer your question, to answer the question. All right, so that's 5 ways that you can use a SharePoint site. Gonna recap one more time. The whole company can use a SharePoint site. It's almost like a no-brainer. Any and everything, all resources, unified communication, unified resources. Again, you can get all of that on one site, which we call the intranet. So that's for the whole entire company. Then number 2, program manager. There's a lot of moving pieces inside of your program, timelines, all kinds of things, stakeholders, you know what I'm saying? Get that in a site. You can use a site and it will change your life. Trust me. Project manager, you already know. Y'all my favorite groups. You know what I'm saying? Or one of my favorite groups, because I get to remake all of these tools, like a risk register. You can put that on the site. Action log, put that on the site. Lessons learned, put that on the site. All of these things I just remake inside of SharePoint instead of using spreadsheets and Word docs and PowerPoint. Remake them, put them on the site. It's a beautiful thing to manage your project with. Then number 4, personally. Use it personally at work, but also you can use it personally in your personal life. You know what I mean? And even with the personal at work, imagine the person who takes over your role. When you brief them to take over the role, you could be like, look, I used to maintain a site, and here's all of the stuff that I put on the site. What do you think? Too easy. Then, lastly, is the IT department. IT department can put the ticketing system on there. They could put the inventory for all the computers they manage, all of the equipment that they manage. It can go on there. The printer list that I thought about, the idea for the printer list, you could do that too. So IT, get on that. Or if you have a good relationship with your IT department, send them this episode. Just send them the clip. Tell them what it is. Tell them what I'm talking about here. Okay. All right, good deal. So that is the end of the meat and potatoes of the episode. However, you know we got to do LinkedIn Love. And I love doing LinkedIn Love. This week I want to highlight Misty Durham. Misty, who you're going to hear on the show here soon. I interviewed her. Misty is... All right, so I love to geek out about SharePoint. Like I'll go to a bar, you know what I'm saying? Even I don't drink no more. I will go to a bar and I'll sit at a bar, and if somebody brings up something related to SharePoint, I will talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Misty seems like somebody who I could just hang out with and obviously talk about a bunch of other stuff. I'm not gonna talk SharePoint all day, unless she wants to. I'm not joking. Anyway, she seems like one of them people that loves to talk about SharePoint like I do. Not seems like, she is, you know what I'm saying? But she not only sees it from a technical point of view, she sees how you can use it as a person who works as at a desk, but more, to tighten that shot group, a project manager. She has been a project manager for multiple years, but she, went and got official with the PMP. So congrats to her. But now, or for the longest time, she just uses SharePoint the way regular people use tools to work better. And she sees it the way I see it, which is, how can we use these tools to work better? That's all I'm about. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm really about. I'm not necessarily trying to go OD technical. I'm just trying to show you how to work better using this cool tool that you already pay for. And she's the same way. I can't wait for y'all to hear that episode. It's going to be dope. So shout out to Misty. Her link will be in the show notes. Also, she worked at Dell for a really long time and then got laid off. And now she got a new job. But you should still follow her and reach out to her, or just follow her on LinkedIn, because the information that she puts out there, it's really good information. Sometimes people just know how to phrase things and make it make sense. Follow her. All right. That's LinkedIn love. Shout out to Misty. Let's talk about, what is that called? What is it? I was about to say snail mail. Fan mail. All right, let's talk about fan mail. Last week, I begged you, you know what I'm saying? I begged you to send me some fan mail. Nobody sent me any fan mail, which is kind of crazy because I thought y'all, wanted to get your mail read on the show. Maybe I should be more specific. Let's do this. If you are struggling at your organization with nope, not doing that. Let's do this instead. If you have a message that you want to send to someone else throughout your organization, maybe anonymously, then send me some fan mail and I'll read it. So here's an example. If your name is Donald and you want to send a message to James, kind of like the radio, like, when you used to call up on the radio and be like, hey, I want to dedicate this song to XYZ. If you're Donald and maybe you don't like James, you can have me read the reason why you don't like James, but let's be civil about it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I'll read something that says, listen, you always, ask me to do something, but you never do it in return. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Just let me read messages to your coworkers. I'd love to do that. You know what I'm saying? Send me some fan mail. And then announcements. Let's get into the announcements. So, listen, I have not stopped selling my risk register course. It's still there. I'll put the link inside of the show notes. But Risk Register is alive and well. Go there and build a better risk register. It's just a short course that teaches you how to build a risk register. Matter of fact, right before I turned on the mic, somebody else just bought another course. You know what I'm saying? It's a beautiful thing. It's trust me. I don't even know how to. You know what? Yes, I do. Let me tell you something. The way that you build a risk register right now inside of a spreadsheet is cheeks. It's not a good way to do it. It'll get the job done, cool. But imagine a much more robust, I'm going to use the word robust, version of what you did inside of a spreadsheet. As a matter of fact, I just demoed this to someone who's a listener of the show. I demoed this to her and she saw what you could do with the risk register. And she's like, oh my goodness, I didn't even know. You know what I'm saying? And it's because what I'm doing is showing people that you can build your project management tools in SharePoint and they are way better with the basic features of SharePoint. So trust me, if you have a risk register at your organization, you need to convert it to the risk register that I show you how to build with SharePoint. It's a course called Risk Register Revamp. Go ahead and take that. Link will be in the show notes. Also, if you haven't gone to SharePointFreebie.com, FREEBIE, go to SharePointFreebie.com because what's going on there is me walking you through your first SharePoint list. You know what I'm saying? I show you where to create it, what the columns are that are inside of the list, and then how to share it out to have people respond. Very basic stuff. Now, I won't take up too much of your time and 100% free. But value-wise, it's worth an email. So you throw an email in there and you'll get it. Anyway, go build your first list at SharePointFreebie.com. You know what I mean? That's it. That's all I got. Thank you for listening. You made it this far. You know what I'm saying? You know I love you. I adore you. You know what I'm saying? I implore you to go start your life over with SharePoint at work. You know what I'm saying? Let's quit with this spreadsheet foolishness. Anyway. Again, reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm always there, damn near every day. I'm definitely on TikTok as well. Reach out over there, and I will see you in the next episode. Appreciate you listening.